What is going on with Kyle Richards from this season's Real Housewives of Beverly Hills? I really can't call it. I don't quite understand, but it's just getting worse and worse by the minute. Sky Squad, we back in the building. Happy day. Okay, we just gonna call it a happy Monday and keep it pushing because y'all know how I feel. So let's get into Kyle's response to the clip that's making the rounds of her, Maurizio, PK, and Dorit laughing about Erica cursing out Garcelle's son. Okay. So Kyle Richards says, I was laughing about a friend's drunken, ridiculous behavior, not about disrespecting someone's child. I think you know me better than that by now. I wasn't even there to see this and only heard about Erica and what she had said later. So here's the thing. Kyle was actually in the scene from it, or what looked to be Kyle. She was actually in the scene from what I saw. Okay. Again, it looked like her, but I don't know if she overheard it or not. But it really doesn't matter. At the end of the day, when I play that clip back, you are laughing at the fact that this is what that girl said, and then your husband sits beside you and says, "I'm glad he said it." I'm glad she said it. So I'm thinking to myself, this is what we call gaslighting, people. She is trying to make us believe that she wasn't laughing at what she was actually laughing at. I like own it. Own it and apologize. Be real. Like, you know what I'm saying? And be as real as you claim that you want Sutton to be, okay? Because the
That you
situation
lost your
between Kyle and Sutton is just equally as toxic to me. As you guys can see here, this is the continuation of Diana and Sutton and Kyle after Garcelle has left the conversation. And basically, Kyle is telling Sutton that she never had a miscarriage. So Sutton is confessing. So Sutton, in her usual attempt to try to identify with Diana and what Diana is going through with losing her baby, she reveals to Diana that she has had two miscarriages. And as she is doing so, Kyle is telling her, wait, I never heard this before. You never said this to me before. You didn't lose two babies. You didn't lose any baby as far as we know. So I want you guys to hear just little bits and pieces of the conversation because I think it's actually very telling.
soulless. She lost a fucking baby. There's nothing you can say. I'm so sorry.
I'm so sorry that you lost your baby.
Don't touch.
So, of course, Diana is still in her feelings or whatever like that. And Sutton is trying to tell her, I too, have lost. And I'm trying to identify with where you're going. Okay, so here's Kyle.
Two babies. I never heard this before.
I've had 2 miscarriages.
I never heard this before.
I'm sorry, I did. It's a very personal thing.
So she's confessing how she has suffered something similar. Again, identification. Lots of people do it when people are going through things to let the person know, hey, I'm trying to identify with what you're going through, and maybe this is something that we can meet on mutual ground about. But Diana is having absolutely none of it.
I was like, bullshit.
So at this point, Kyle is telling her that it feels like
Bullshit.
BS.
Love you, but honestly, this feels like bullshit.
You're being very strange right now.
No, I'm not being strange. I'm being honest. So you're gonna say he lost 2 babies.
So she's literally questioning whether or not the woman has lost, 2 children. And furthermore, the argument between Diana and Sutton just gets worse because, Diana is not trying to hear anything that Sutton tells her until finally Sutton gets to the point where she explodes.
This is fake. This is me being real.
Okay, go ahead.
So if you want to be a mother,
There you go, Sutton. Let her have it. Let her have it, okay? And so then you see Kyle, once again, doing what she always does, throwing her hands all up on Sutton. Look, I don't like how she be yanking her around like that. I think that that's kind of crazy to me. It's crazy to me. It's absolutely insane to me. But it gets worse.
Miscarriages is really mean.
Oh,
You're saying that you didn't know that I had miscarriages?
why would we know? Listen.
So again, just because you didn't know it, don't mean it didn't happen. Like, you're not the knower of everything. Like that sounds crazy to me.
She lost a baby. You did not. Maybe you're.
She just told a girl she didn't lose a baby. How you gonna tell her she didn't lose a baby? Make it make sense for me.
Years ago, I don't know. This is recent.
I'm not feeling Kyle this season. I am not feeling Kyle this season at all. I feel like something in the milk ain't right with her this season. And that's just how I feel about that. I don't like it because you're supposed to be friends with Sutton, but every opportunity you get, starting last season, you throw her under the bus. And finally, Sutton is starting to open her eyes and recognize that the things that Kyle is doing to her are actually really mean. You just met this Diana woman, but because it feels to me as though she got a little bit more cash in the bank than Sutton might have, it's time to trade up on that one. And especially because Lisa Rinna brought her into, or really kind of Crystal brought her into the group, but I felt like Lisa Rinna is the one who made the most use out of Diana in attempts to make Sutton look crazy with that whole Elton John charity story. But I digress because, listen, we can go on about this all day. It's one more subject that I want to touch on because I didn't get a chance to touch on it while I was away. We got to talk about this. So for me, Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip is the epitome of a housewives show right now. I love this show, especially the one that's airing right now with Phaedra, Eva, Dorinda, Tamra, Vicky, Brandy, Jill, and Taylor. It is TV gold. It's funny. They can insult each other, and they don't take it to the depths that some of these shows are taking it to. And it feels light and fun. But we got some intel I'd seen over the weekend about Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip 3. And they are saying that it's going to be like a best friends edition. So we have allegedly Candiace Dillard Bassett and Tinsley Mortimer, who is from Real Housewives of New York City, joining. So the full cast looks like this. You got Leah and Tinsley from New York. You got Bad Weather, Heather and Whitney Rose from Salt Lake City. Alexia and Marisol from Miami, and you got Gizelle and Candiace as besties. How that makes sense? Now, for those of us, now I know that, listen, Potomac just wrapped, okay? The videos and everything are floating around out there of their rap party. Apparently, you know, it was either a video release or a music release or something like that Candiace has with Trina. I ain't gonna take away nothing from Candiace about her music career because I feel like the girl can sing. I want her to do well. I want her to pop, and I want her stuff to go platinums, okay? Diamond L's, okay, if you will. But I don't understand how her and Gizelle are put together if you're doing like this best friends edition, because last we heard, Candiace wasn't even following Gizelle. So how that makes sense? It would have made more sense if it was Gizelle and Robin. So why didn't you put Robin in there? I mean, now, while Robin may be a very relatable housewife to the everyday viewer, you know what I'm saying? To us everyday folk, okay? She ain't necessarily the type that really give us those fireworks. And I will admit Candiace does do that. So why not put Candiace and Wendy on there? Okay, that would have made more sense to me. Or Gizelle and Robin. Because last we heard, Gizelle and Candiace wasn't getting along. So unless things just got better at the end of the season, which again, I don't really understand it. This doesn't make sense to me. This doesn't make sense to me. And I definitely wouldn't have listen, this is no shade to Leah, but her last season on New York, I wasn't feeling her either. I don't know. To me, this don't feel like the cast that I would put together right here. Okay. It really don't. And maybe they'll make some TV magic I would if you're gonna call it something else and you want to put Gizelle and Candiace on there, fine. I'm cool with that. But the best friend edition, it don't make no sense. But anyway, the tea is that they'll be filming in July 7th on July 17th in the Thailand. Okay. And I know some of these other, especially the ones from Real Housewives of Ultimate Girls Trip 2, I know they're looking at this cast like, now how they get to go to Thailand and we up at the Bluestone Manor? And no shade to Dorinda's place, but I mean, you want to be someplace exotic. And Dorinda definitely is making it nice, but still, I mean, I know they got to be side-eyeing it a little bit. Okay. Now, let me know what you guys think about this casting. Who would you have casted instead? That's all the tea we got for y'all today. I'm about to go to a barbecue. I'll talk to you.